And if it's too bright and it washes out their face, let me know. Because it looks like that.
Okay, Mom. You wanna?
Does it wash out their faces?
Yeah, especially with their light hair. Why don't you put it down?
Oh, yeah, I can see
How
that.
about putting it down to just barely the top of the couch, where maybe some of the a little bit further.
Right there. That's pretty.
Got the head on
What do you think?
I think it needs to come down because it's too
Okay.
much of a line right behind them. It's distracting.
I don't know if it help. We got to
Okay.
raise those blinds back there.
Dad, Mommy,
I think
it's a boy
it'll be
bun.
okay. Mom, do you think that looks okay?
It won't ever look good without heads.
Oh, Mom, your heads are there.
I see them.
I was trying to think. I got.
Okay, I think that helps
That,
some.
yeah. That
Yeah.
might have-
I think I got. You know the radio. I got a bunch of them lights. You know.
Okay, I think that's pretty good,
I think
don't
it's
you?
good.
Yeah, I think that's good, Julie.
Okay.
You might try another one and see.
Not real good, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Have we started yet?
Yep.
Okay. Dad,
We
what?
got the whole thing.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us about when you met Mom?
Well, the first time I saw your mom, I was driving down. There's three of us boys together in an old '37 Chevrolet, and was driving down the streets of Aurora.
That's
and
where I live.
These three girls was walking down the street, and I think I honked at them, and they were waved real big. So
That's what you do.
we went on down to the skating rink, which was a block and so down the road. And so we went in there and was going to go skating. Here they come in with skating. So we started skating with them then. Been going around together ever since, I guess. Running in circles ever since.
Why did you think of Dad when you first saw him?
Oh, I liked him.
Oh, yeah. Like to eat me up, didn't you?
Oh, I didn't do that.
Mom, were you a good skater?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's back then. That's about the only thing there was to do. Monette didn't have a skating rink at the time, so us boys from Monette would go to Aurora. That's how come
And we'd all
And-
been skate
And so
together, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked him out.
So you picked him instead of him picking you?
Yeah.
yeah, because I had the car.
Well, I wasn't going to tell that.
No,
Isn't it nice down here?
It is. It is
Very nice. You've done a
Very
good job
comfortable.
decorating.
Oh, I do that real well.
Well, what's your favorite color?
Well, I never do pick out a color before I'm starting to do it. Because that's important. See these things? I was in Arizona, wasn't it, Bill?
what's that?
When we bought these.
These couches?
Uh-huh.
No, he's in Texas.
Texas, he said. Yeah.
Well, how long did you date before Dad proposed?
Oh, 10 months, wasn't it?
Hmm.
About 9 or 10 months.
See how slow he is.
I told Dorothy.
He's just so slow.
Well, it must have been just about 9 months because before we got married, because 11 months after we got married, Danny was born. So I told Dorothy we got married just in time. You know?
So where did you live? Oh, okay. And so your first job after you got married, what were you doing? What did you do?
Oh, before we got married, I was cutting trees, lumber, making lumber,
Oh,
and selling it.
Was that here in Missouri?
Yeah, down in Monad. And
We had to get out of there.
me and the guy
We
that
wanted to make any
he had an old Model A Ford truck, and we cut logs one day and hauled them to the mill the next day, and brought back a load of lumber that same day. But I sold the money. I sold the lumber to the school. They built a new school there, and we furnished the money for that. I mean, the lumber for that
mm-hmm.
school, and my half of that money for the school was what I had when we got married.
I didn't want you to tell that.
So Dorothy married me for my money.
Here's some of my crocheting.
So about how much
Did you
money?
do that crocheting?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mom made all
yeah,
those.
and
Yeah.
everything you see around here is crocheted. I did it.
So how much money did you have when you got married?
A little over $300.
Boy, back then, that you were
But you know,
loaded.
I think I told you about though that we just got married, hadn't been married a week or so. It was up Dorothy's mom's house. She lived out kind of the edge of town in Aurora.
In the what is it?
Mines.
Mines.
There's mines up behind her house, but we'd walk back in there, and Dorothy
Wondering
wanted
and kill me.
Dorothy wanted to go for a walk, so there's a trail back there. And so we was walking down the trail. Dorothy said, "You better let me carry that billfold. You'll lose that back out of your pocket back here." So I said, "Okay, here, I handed her my billfold."
See
We'd
how
probably
naive he is.
We'd have probably gone about a half a block or so, and I saw her drop my billfold.
Well, we was
And-
just out and about.
And
We wasn't close to people.
I said, I didn't say, I just kept going, just kept.
Yeah.
We got down there about another half a block. I said, "Dorothy, where's my billfold?" And she, "Oh, golly, I've lost that. I don't have that billfold." And I said, "Well, see, there you've lost it already." And she said, "Oh, we gotta go hunt that." We
He
went
knew
back
where it
down there,
was.
and I knew which right where it was at. So
He saw me drive.
I said, "Okay now." I said, "Don't you ever ask me for my billfold."
And I haven't.
Now she just asked for the money, not the
Yeah.
billfold.
She don't want the billfold. Give me
That's
that
the
money.
truth.
Oh,
No, no. After we got married, after we got married, I went to work. Was building a MFA milk plant. MFA milk plant down in Monad. I worked there for several months and got through there.
I thought they were good guy. Gave you another job.
A friend of hers in school, she went to
I
school.
can't help it.
Went to school with her dad. She was in Dorothy's class together,
Yeah.
and he told me, he said, "Well, when you get to be 18 years old, come down, I'll give you a job."
How old were you?
I was 17 then, when I was working. See, we got married when I was 17.
Okay.
no, weren't you 16? I thought you were 16 and
No.
Mom was 15.
No, I was 17. See,
Oh.
now it's like now I'm 83, and she just turned 82.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
See how he takes all that gibberish.
And
but
finally,
anyway, when I got to be 18, the day I was 18, I went down and signed up on the railroad. I had to take his physical and fingerprint you and everything else, to work on the railroad. But
Yeah.
then on May the 8th, I went to work on the railroad. And so I worked there 3 years, 4 months, and 8 days. And I don't know how many minutes. Oh, I bet that was. You know, I liked the railroad though. Up until right at the last there.
Yeah.
My dad had died, and
We had so many things happen.
that I was having to go drive to Aurora to go to work on the railroad, and then I was having to ride in a truck. There's a whole bunch of, they call it a bucket gang, you know, at that time, and there's about 20 of us riding around in that truck and go to jobs different.
Mhm.
Well, even came up here to Springfield quite a lot. Anyway, I did that for a few months, and I quit the railroad and put in a service station down on it, and I hated that thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that was a terrible thing.
Oh,
So,
you had your own service station?
yeah.
Hmm.
So I sold that.
Well, what were you doing when you built your first house? You built a house,
Well,
or
that
added on to a house
that was when I was working on the railroad. That was in our spare time. That's what we were doing on weekends. And
You notice he said we.
Yeah, I do know, because you had to help build it too.
And, well,
I did.
I took you down there and
Yeah.
I thought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still, people live there, and the people we sold it to still live there, still on.
Yeah,
Said how good we'd done.
Yeah, their first house was made out of from concrete blocks that they
Mhm.
made.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
They made the
blocks
concrete blocks and
and
built
laid
their
the
own house.
blocks. And,
Well, that's how you do when you want to make people work hard.
Yeah, that too.
no.
You just throw that in.
I tell you what, that was definitely made from
I
scratch.
was usually
Yeah.
using
Oh,
the whole, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people around there couldn't hardly believe though, us being just 16, I was 18, build that little house, you know, do all the work on it and
Yeah.
get it done, you know. We lived there for a while.
Well,
Well, we moved there. I guess we was living there when you was born, yeah.
Okay, were you living there when Danny was born?
No,
mm-mm.
we we moved there right after. Let's see, let me think. No, I don't think we'd moved there yet when Danny was born. No, we hadn't.
We had, yeah, we've
No,
been too
but,
busy working.
No, we had lived there, I don't know, we lived there about a year or so. I worked on,
Well, where is
well,
Alice and Bo in this? Because
they got married just about the same time
you know, Bo.
we did, and they built that house there in Monette, that shop. You know, he never did do any good there in his shop, an upholstery shop.
So, when did you work for Jack Nelson delivering mail? Was that
Yeah,
after?
No, yeah, that was after the railroad. That was after the service station. I sold the service station and did that. Drove the mail truck for
Okay,
a year and a half.
okay.
And then that's when we lived up here at the time, we was doing that. And then we, when I quit the mail, hauling the mails when I moved to Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
And I went up there in 52, in the spring of 52, and I was there quite a while before Dorothy came up.
Oh, really? Okay.
He wouldn't let me.
Well, where was Mom
I
then?
had all them little
Well,
kids.
she's living in that little house we had down
Oh,
there. And But
So after you got a job and everything and got settled, then the rest of us moved into Lawrence?
Mike, let's see, where was Mike born at? I guess he,
Well, it had been,
I guess he is born out there in that little house too.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think Mike and I both were born in
Yeah.
Monette.
yeah, he was born there in that little
Yeah.
house. But no, I remember though. We went to Lawrence, and I just went signed up as a carpenter, you know, and joined the carpenters union.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never been. I worked with my dad's son, you know, and I'd built that little house, and I'd worked at it.
Well, now I think you
That-
said that I built that little house when I helped.
We,
I was carrying them bricks and everything.
but anyway, then when we moved to Lawrence, we bought an acre of land. I bought a lake cabin out the lake and had it moved in there. Dorothy and I completely remodeled that thing and
Yeah.
built a double garage onto it.
Thanks for putting my name in.
Yeah, I can remember that. I even
Yeah,
remember us.
yeah, you went to school there. So you-
I remember us even going. I even remember going out to that old lake and looking at all those flooded,
yeah.
old
Yeah.
houses when Dad bought that house. So
But you know, if we hadn't done that, I mean, we went and talked to this old banker then, and because I wanted to build a house to sell,
That was like God coming.
and
That
So
was
we-
wonderful.
he loaned us the money to build that house.
She did on nothing.
He called back to Aurora, and he said, well, he went back in the back room to talk to him, you know. He came out there and he said, well, they seem to think a lot of you back there. And he said, well, what do you want to do? And we told him. He said, well, let's do it. He said, so,
That's a good one.
hey, no. When we got it, we built the house and put an ad in the paper, picture and everything in the paper, and run a big ad on it, you know. And had open house on it that weekend. And he called me on Monday morning, banker did. Said, well, did you sell that house? I said, no, we didn't. I said, we had several people act interested, but I said, we didn't sell it. He said, well, I sold it. Come on in and get your money.
Isn't that wonderful?
His aunt.
It's a wonderful
He said, I had an
story.
aunt that looked at it and she liked it. She wanted it. So said, how do you want your money? I said, well, just put it in an account, you know. And he said, well, what are you going to do now? And I said, well, I'd like to build a couple more. Well, you know where you'd want to build them at? I said, yeah, I do. And he said, well, go ahead. He said, just go ahead and buy the lots. He said, I'll pay for everything.
Nobody ever scummed us like that.
And so went on there for quite a while. We was building several houses around there. But he told me, he said, Bill, I need to talk to you. He said, you know, he said, you can do better. He said, you need to work with a savings and loan. And he said, they can make you permanent loans and things on this. He said, all I can do is, you know, make the construction loans. But anyway, he set us up then with, I guess we started with American Savings
Yeah, that's American Savings.
and you know, we was with them I don't know how many years.
A
Yeah.
lot.
But the only reason they couldn't loan us any more money if we had more than, they couldn't let any one customer have more than 10% of their assets, you know. You couldn't, their money
Mhm.
and so when we'd get to where we got 10% of their money, why we had to wait till they got more money in. But
Oh.
that's,
Mm.
we was building a lot then.
Wow.
Had 2 apartment complexes going.
Were those the 2 apartment complexes at Lawrence then that you
Uh-huh.
had then?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's where we got started.
And we had
Okay.
1, 2, 3. We had 3 subdivisions, you know,
Wow.
going at the same time, building houses. But
Now, when you first moved to Lawrence, you worked at a fertilizer plant, didn't you?
building a fertilizer.
Oh, you were building the fertilizer
Yeah.
plant. Okay.
You come back here.
And then you worked on the bridge. Did you help
went
build the
to
bridge?
Kansas
here.
Turnpike.
Oh, the
Oh, is
turnpike.
that right?
Yeah, I worked on. And you know, I was just, I don't know, in my 20s, you know.
Mhm.
And
You
this
can tell he's painted. She's
superintendent
Yeah.
that I worked for there lives out of Kansas City, and he come out there and asked me once, said, "Do you by any chance know of anybody we could get that would know how to make these ramps, these curves and everything for these in bridge abutments, you know?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Oh, what?" I said, "I think I can do that." And he said, "Did you ever do that?" I said, "No, but they don't look that complicated." And
He got the job.
he said, "Well, if you think you can do it, why?"
Wow.
He said, "Just get whatever you need out there to build them with." So I did. I went and built them all for that bridge, and then when we got that bridge job done, he wanted me to come to Joplin. It's building, had some bridges to build there, and I guess it was on I-44 probably.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. We just got our house and everything there in Lawrence, and I went to work building the Gertrude Sellers Pearson Hall up there. I worked there and we built that. But you know the thing, I went to work in Topeka for a builder there and build houses over there
Oh.
in Topeka for, I guess about a year. And then when I left there, I just came back to Lawrence and started building houses there.
Oh, I see.
For himself. And me.
Mhm.
But
Because I helped him paint and everything.
you know, that's a bad thing in construction. You know, you go through times when you can build houses and just sell them as fast. Then you go through a period where you can't sell nothing. You know,
Mhm.
and that happens a lot. You figure it out about every 7 years at least. And so
Well, what
Right.
house did you build that you was the most proud of? You know, which house? I mean, was it the one in Arizona or one on the country club, or I mean, which
Oh,
one when you got
probably-
it done?
probably the one out in Country Club, that first one we had out there,
Mhm.
because that was the first house that we ever built that we had the money just to do whatever, to
Go
do
in
it
and build it.
the way we wanted it, you know.
Oh, huh.
Is that the one you
Because
had
we've
when I
been
was a kid?
saving it.
Is that the one you had when I was a kid?
I think so.
Had that huge deck
Uh-huh.
off there.
No,
and-
that was Cedarwood Hill. I think you're thinking of
I'm
Cedarwood
think-
Hills.
okay.
That's we sold. That was after the one.
Are
I'm
you
not-
are you talking about the one on Princeton and Providence? Yeah, that
That
was when
was
I was
after-
young.
Oh,
We
okay.
sold that to a college professor then, and built the one out in Cedarwood Hills. No, I didn't. I didn't like that one too well out in Cedarwood there, but that one.
Oh, really?
That one we had there on Nottingham.
Uh-huh.
You know, Man, we had the parties there. You talk about having some big parties now. You probably remember some of them, don't you?
Yeah, sort of.
But
I remember getting ready for them,
yeah.
and I think we left during the parties and
See,
stuff.
Dorothy she was the president of the Newcomers Association thing there. And all those new people that come to town, we'd entertain them. See, they'd have
Oh wow. It's a full time job.
all those big basketball players that come in. John Cooper, I don't really. John Cooper was before your time, but he was the head coach out in Ohio State for several years, and he was the #1 team of the nation for several years.
Oh wow.
But they used to come to our house, and his assistant coach there was Rainsberger, Ellis Rainsberger.
Did you hear of him, Ellis?
Now he went to Southern Illinois. He was the head coach there in Southern Illinois.
Wow.
But his wife, Shirley Rainsberger, was our secretary for a couple of years.
Plus other things.
And was what?
Plus other things.
No.
I can't leave nothing out.
But anyway, and then
So
Did you-
it was when you lived though in once you had that house at Princeton Providence and you started.
That was when.
That's about the time Mom started selling real estate then, right?
Mhm.
yeah. Did you know Norma B, our secretary, or well, she was assistant manager over at Birchwood Garden Apartments,
I
an
don't.
older woman. But she worked for us for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
That was good. I didn't have to do
her
it.
husband was the guy that invented the game of basketball.
Isn't that wonderful?
Wow.
He died, but his
Huh.
I didn't listen to it.
see what was her name? What was his name?
Oh my, I knew Waldo.
Well, I
Norma
think
B.
Norma B. But his name was
Came to me.
Naismith. Naismith
Yeah.
invented the game of basketball,
Hmm.
and they built the Naismith Hall there in Lawrence, in his name. But I've got a contract over there, someplace. I was looking at it the other day. We signed a contract with this guy from California, and his name was. Well, I could think of it a while ago. But anyway, he wrote the play Picnic, with
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
with Holden,
William Holden.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he wrote that play, and he came back to Lawrence, Kansas, and was going to work with them there at that place there right across the street from our office. I forget what the name of it is even now. But anyway, we had the contract all signed and ready to go on it. And his manager
Huey, come here.
got
Huey.
thought that he shouldn't
She ain't gonna do it.
wouldn't be good for him to move back there.
Oh, okay.
Well, it so happened that it's probably a good thing for us that he didn't, because he got sick and died not
Oh, wow.
too long after that.
Well, what do you like? What do you like doing the best in your free time? Would it be boating or fishing or hunting? I know.
None of that. Because we don't get time.
Well, it's not because I don't like to.
I know you used to do things like that. What did you like doing the best in your free time?
Oh, I used to enjoy trap shooting a lot.
Hmm.
And hunting. I used to do a lot of hunting. We went, used to go hunting a lot.
Mom, what did you like doing the best in your free time?
Sleep.
Okay.
You didn't sleep much back
She
then.
crocheted a lot, as you can tell by
Yeah,
the
I crocheted a lot. I got boxes and boxes of that.
Mom
And you
was
cooked because you used to make the best sausage biscuits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
I know Doug would said, "Man, I sure wish you could make sausage and biscuits." And you even tried to teach me once and failed, I think, in that
Yeah.
department.
But you know, the heck of it is she don't remember how she did any of that stuff.
I
Not
tell you what,
now.
Yeah.
I'm 80. What, too?
You know, she
You
used to,
can't go back 80.
back years
Right.
ago, could make the best pizza you ever ate. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't make any pizzas anymore come close.
Um,
We had a place there. She worked at a pizza
Campus
place
Hideaway.
in
yeah.
Lawrence.
And
Campus
when
Hideaway.
I had my parties in the basement, that great humongous basement we had, and I just loved doing it, you know. But then after I left there, it kind of all went away. I forgot how I did it, or
Right.
something, you know, or maybe I just didn't care.
And Mom was very artsy craftsy. She made a lot of decorations
I
to
did.
decorate the house and for holidays and stuff.
Mhm.
Well, you know, she used to. Back years ago, she could pick out all the colors and everything for the house. You
Yeah,
know,
Mom's a good
Or
decorator. Yeah, yeah.
The apartments,
Mhm.
I did that too. Picked them out.
Hmm. Now Mom enjoys decorating for Christmas.
Oh yeah, we've had that tree for about 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, I had to give it some time to get it adjusted.
Yeah, she's got
After
everything
all, he's
decorated.
going to be using I guess a bear. Let me tell him
What's she doing, cutie?
She just go check everybody over see if they got anything to eat.
What do you consider that you're most proud of in your life?
You can tell him it was me.
That's what I was thinking. You know what? Here's the right answer.
Yeah, I tell you, man.
Politically correct here.
Oh,
I
thank
guess
you.
the one thing that
Where are you,
I've got-
Lost Mother?
more, maybe not so much satisfaction from being able to know that I've done well enough in my lifetime that when I die, my kids won't have to have it so hard. My grandkids and kids can have a lot easier life than what I've had. But, I mean, that's been one of the things that I've been glad of, you know, because that don't happen every day.
Yeah, that's true.
You
Mom,
know.
what do you consider that you're most proud of?
Probably when I could use my head to go get what do you call it when you go get
Abortion.
no, you know well, I used to do this all the time, knock on the door and ask them if I could,
Contract sign on a real estate deal.
that's what I did best. And I
So
did
you
it
thought you
good.
sold real estate is what you did
Yeah,
best.
but I had it in my hand too.
No,
By now, I can't remember nothing.
no.
But I did good in real estate.
But you know, I've often wondered though. Now my brothers, I had 3 brothers older than me and 2 younger. And one older and one younger worked for me for a lot of years. But, you know, they'd ask me when I'd be buying a lot of stuff and building a lot of buildings. Well, aren't you afraid to do what you're doing? Don't this bother you? And I said, no. Well, what would happen if things went bad, you know? I said, well, I guess I'd lose everything. But I said, it don't matter whether I lose 10 million or 10,000. I said, I could pay one just as well as I could the other one anyway. And so that's the way we kind of looked at it back then.
Mm.
I didn't ever, and I can honestly say to this day, anybody ask you how much money you worth, how much you got, I couldn't say within $1 million one way or the other. Because I don't count money. I don't. Money,
Oh, you don't?
no, I don't. Did you know I
Oh,
don't?
my Lord. No money.
I know where the money's at and everything, but I don't add it up to see what it is.
Oh.
And it just never did bother me.
Hey, peer me.
Yeah.
We used to have a little kid, little boy, that went around saying, peer me.
That was Steve Berry, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or was that? Are you talking about Gary?
no, Steve Berry.
Okay.
But, no, I've heard people say, if you know how much money you got, you don't have much anyway. And I think
Well, I
you
don't believe that.
Well, I do.
But I know it. That's why we can't agree.
Well, we agree.
No.
You agree, we agree, let me take care of the money.
Well, I got to tell you, I pretty much know how much I got because there isn't that much to count.
Well, see,
I don't have that much to keep track of.
that's what they say though, if you know how much you got, you don't have much. And,
No, that's
and
you have to
I
keep
tell
an
you,
eye on what
I'll
you-
guarantee you, and I don't, because I was trying to figure out the other day, I bought some stocks in something, trying to say, well, how much could you come up with now? I said, well, I don't know. You know, I hadn't even thought about it. And so I finally kept, well, okay. I said, I don't know. Just put, I don't know. And I don't. And
That sounds stupid.
it isn't stupid. I don't
Well,
know.
If you
What-
don't know what you got.
Dad
We've
and
been-
Mom have both liked to collect things through the years, and Dad used to collect, what was it, Cadillacs, convertibles.
I had 2 Cadillac convertibles.
No, I thought you had more than 2. You had a red one, and I
Mhm.
thought you had one of every color.
No, I just had red and white.
Oh,
Red and white. I had, and you know, I bought there's 72 Cadillac convertibles, and I had them both redone, completely. New interior, new tires, new paint,
Mm.
and
they were sharp looking. Those
Oh,
that
I
were
believe it.
block long.
I was going to get a license for them. Went to get a license for them.
Peer me.
I wanted to put master on mine and slave on her. she wouldn't let me. So.
I wouldn't have either.
Well,
Gosh.
I thought, well, I ain't no use having stuff. You can't have it the way you want it when I sold them.
Well, and Mom's collected Hummels.
I thought that would have been.
I still got them.
I thought that would have been a nice thing to have.
Mm.
With that.
Well, yeah, but as long as you got to drive the master one, I guess so.
Well. Boy, they were sharp. That old guy.
Yeah,
Let's
they
get-
were.
License for that is a red, bright red, but it was really bright. And
Mhm.
took it down to City Hall, courthouse there in Lawrence. They had to inspect it, you know, there. And that old Guy come out there, man, if you drive that down the streets of Kansas City, every nigger in town will be trying to hijack
Yeah.
it.
Well, that try to set you up in business, one or two.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, the
Oh,
wife
boy.
had some sharp parts in my day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
And boats. Dad's always had a boat.
yeah, don't get to use that.
He's still crazy about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Only it's a different boat.
Yeah. Oh, he's had a lot of different ones.
So where were you when JFK was shot?
I was down at my mother's house in Monette. Me and my two brothers. I bought half interest in her place. She had a little farm there. That's after Dad died. And we was down there putting the bathroom. Had to put a roof on part of it, and we added a bathroom in our house, put water in the inside, and had to put the septic tank and stuff in. But we was down doing that at the time when that happened.
Mom, where were you? Do you remember?
Hmm?
Do you remember where you were when JFK was shot?
She was
Mm.
in Lawrence.
I was probably struggling.
He's trying to do what?
She's
I was
not.
thinking about something else.
I was going to say she's not telling, obviously.
No.
She's
Well-
keeping it a secret.
No, I had a job then. I had to go work.
Oh, you was.
I worked at a restaurant.
Not then, hon, because I was in high school.
I don't think he's. If he was doing anything, he was either.
Make it good.
I think he's selling real estate if he was working.
Yeah.
I was selling real estate.
Well,
That's the reason
yeah.
I wanted that yet. But I was good at it.
Good at
I
what?
really did.
Mm-hmm.
What was you good at?
Being a realtor, I knew how to do it. You can tell the way I act.
Bye now. Bye now.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing is to know about it. With Dad being a builder, you know, and you helping him build houses, you really grew up with it. So that's probably helped you be a good realtor. Is that you kind of grew up in the home building industry.
You know, where was that plyboard that was all lined up on the wall? And it
That's
fell on me.
sheetrock.
Sheetrock, it was sheetrock. Yeah, but it didn't work. He didn't get me.
You think he was
Yeah.
trying?
Huh?
I asked Mom. I said, "Do you think he was trying?"
Well, yeah, I couldn't.
No, I was
She pulled it
trying.
off the wall and out onto her.
Well, you told me to do something, and I thought I was doing it right. And I got the barrel of the gun.
But
Felt like it.
So-
Anyway.
Mom was the carpenter's helper. She started out as the carpenter's helper.
I let her do some of the odds and ends I didn't want to do.
Yeah, when it comes to the last part of it, he has me doing it all, like the painting and whatever. I didn't even like painting.
Yeah, I remember going. Seems like we were, as a family, kind of building a house a year. Because I remember going out to the houses and having to sweep and sand sand and woodwork.
No, we was doing more than 1 year.
Oh, I thought that was when you was first getting started.
No, we had to do more often than that.
Oh.
We have to do it more often. Hear that word?
Well,
Yeah, but I do remember going and sanding and.
but
And he only had me there. You didn't even come to visit me.
oh,
Oh,
You know, though, I've often wondered. I had a lot of through the years. Will Wynn was building all those houses out in Country Club
Mhm.
North and Country Club States.
Mhm.
A lot of them old people. You know, we was just young men, me and all of us. Well, how did you guys learn to do all this stuff? I just thought, well, I don't seem like it just comes to you. There's nothing. It's not like being a scientist or anything like that. It's,
Well, it's something that probably was real logical to you, you know, that just made sense. And
yeah, yeah. There's some things that I, because when I went to work as a union carpenter there, why, just for instance, was building that co-op fertilizer plant, the first job I had, you know, when I went to Lawrence. And was building piers to, to set the conveyor pipes and stuff on from the nitrate tower out there, and had all these big, well, there was walls to hold that stuff up. And anyway, the engineers had staked it all out, and they had us come out there and start building that stuff. We was working there on some of it, and I went in, had blueprints inside the shack there, blueprint shack, and I went in there, check was getting ready to start on another row of piers, and I started figuring it out, but it didn't come out right. You know, the numbers wasn't right, and so I told the foreman there, and I told him, I said, these figures, something's not right here, because I said, this don't check out right. But these figures don't total up to what the distance is here, and it doesn't come out right. So he called the general superintendent down there, and Charlie Shutt was his name, told him, said, Bill here says these figures aren't right on this conveyor. And he got the engineers back over and said, well, let's check it out. Of course, it wasn't right. And, but you know, and that we just starting the job, more or less, putting foundations. And I was, I don't know, the 14th or so, I think my number 14 out there that, and there's over 100 carpenters there on the job, you know, and some have been in the union for years and years, you know. I was the very last one to get laid off, and he told me then, the general superintendent said, gotta let you go. He said, the reason I gotta let you go is they're letting me go. And he said, this is our last day. But anyway, and he told me, when everybody else was gone, he said, Bill, I'll tell you, you got a job as long as you can stay hid. He said, if you hide out around here, as long as you can hide out, you got a job. Because there was no jobs available then at that time. And I stayed there a long time. Just I was the only one, me and that superintendent was the only one around there. And
don't tell us your poor story.
but you know, and the
Oh,
only
I
thing
know.
that
Can't be that.
kept that job for me over a year, and being there all that time was that deal on that,
Oh, that's those
Conveyor.
big figures.
because he thought, that probably saved
All kinds
a
of
lot
money.
of headaches and problems later down the line.
Hmm.
And so he thought I knew what I was doing.
Is there anything that you would have liked to do that you didn't do?
Oh, I don't know. Not many, I don't say.
Mom, can you think of anything you'd like to have done?
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell nobody.
Nah, well, she wouldn't have done it right anyway.
Oh, Penny, get up and feed him.
No.
Well, I'm glad to see that you both seem so happy and everything now and enjoying your
Well, I tell you,
retirement. And
we haven't got anything to really be sad about or sorrowful about, and I tell you, I'm just surprised that we did as good as we did in most things. I tell you, I made lots and lots of mistakes. A lot of things
Well, I was going to tell you that.
I wish I hadn't done, and there's a lot of things I would have sure wish I'd have done different, but I didn't, and I can't redo them now.
Mhm.
But
But you guys seem pretty happy now, and
it seems that,
I hope she's not.
got your dogs to keep you
yeah,
happy.
we got 2 dogs here.
She's going to open it either.
Huh?
It's not shut completely. And I bet she
She can't open
she
it.
can't open it.
She's upstairs. She could.
Well,
Well, I think that kind of wraps it up. Doug will take what we've recorded and pictures we've made and put together a movie. When he gets it all done, I'll bring it and show it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. We ought to go, because we want it X-rated.
Oh, wow.
Ray,
Huh.
we're going to make this movie X-rated. Strip down.
well, I don't like strip.
I tell you what, I just think Mom looks so nice today. Doesn't she look nice? I tell you what, all my efforts to beautify her just really pays off. Okay, I think it's a wrap.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, did you?
There was a few questions I wanted to.
Oh, well,
Is that all right?
no, you can edit. Yeah, I mean, you can edit this and make it not a wrap. And
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
yeah, I didn't realize you were still.
Well, I've really enjoyed this.
I've enjoyed it too.
I really.
Well, I tell you, the thing, we haven't got to spend much time together. with
Yeah.
You guys, and haven't really even got to know your kids hardly, But we're really glad we got to do that. I mean,
Well, thank you.
we're really glad you guys could come down and spend some time.
Well, it doesn't happen very often.
No.
Everybody's so busy, with
Yeah.
Doug and Julie working.
It's
Everybody's so busy with Doug and Julie working, and we all live so far away.
Yeah.
And I think Julie and I've got bronchitis.
What's Julie doing now? Is she
Julie. She works part time. She works for a organization called Christian Youth Theater,
Oh,
and it's a drama program for kids.
oh,
So they're involved in singing and dancing, and our kids are in it, and really have, especially Amy, our youngest girl, has really just blossomed. Her confidence in front of people has improved. Her public speaking has really improved.
that's very important too.
Boy, it is.
Now that's something for me that was always hard
Oh,
to
here's
do.
one.
I just hated to have to get up in front of people and talk. And you got to start when you're young in order to be able to do that and it not bother you. But we had to go to the city commissions and planning commissions and that stuff so much back when we were younger.
Yeah.
That
Look how good she's getting it.
Mm.
The dolls. See,
Oh,
she
yeah.
can take them to school
Absolutely.
and
Uh-huh.
show them to people.
You bet.
Well, and all of the kids are good performers. I mean, they're in the Christmas programs
And,
and
yeah.
they sing and dance, and I mean, they're just really.
well, I tell you, confidence in anything is good. I mean,
Yeah, because it kind of comes through in everything you do. Then if you've got self confidence.
the thing about it is, I think, I know you can make mistakes and you can get into things that's bad, but if you have enough confidence in yourself that you're able to overcome it and get out of it,
Mm-hmm.
that means a lot. You know, that was another thing. I'd quit smoking 3 or 4 times, 3 times in my lifetime.
Well,
Besides,
they say 10.
but one time was, Dr. Lessingen told me I'd be better off to start. Said you ought to start smoking if that'll get the weight off, because I was gaining weight. Said,
Wasn't that a stupid
said the weight's not.
remark?
Said smoking's not, doesn't kill people your age as much as being overweight and heart attacks.
Mm.
But anyway,
But he's dead.
I had so many people say my brothers especially, and brother-in-laws, I've heard them say to me, "Oh, I sure need to quit smoking, but I just can't. I just can't quit."
Yeah.
And every one of them quit finally, but too late.
Mm.
Which two?
Bo was
Merle,
one.
and Ray. I knew all 3 of them. That was
Eventually, I think everybody gets to the point where they have to quit.
Well,
It's just
yeah,
a
but
matter of when.
but they
do it.
died
Yeah.
right away. All 3 of them.
They get to the point where they don't have any choice, but then at that point their health's already
But
ruined.
then there was June and Jane and my sisters. But, the last cigarette I smoked was sometime in 1985. And Dorothy and I and another couple had been over to Laughlin, Nevada, and coming back through the reservation there, and I stopped at about 3 cartons of cigarettes. And I was smoking them old long Moore cigarettes.
Yeah, I remember those.
And I got home that night, and I'd opened that 1 carton in 1 pack, and I'd smoked 3 cigarettes out of that pack. And I told Dorothy, I said,
When you get this,
I'm not
he
going
told me.
to smoke those things. I said, I'm quit. I said, I'm not going to smoke anymore. And I told her, I said, a friend Bender smoked that kind of cigarettes. I said, give them to Fran in the morning. I said, I just don't want no more cigarettes. That was the last cigarette I ever smoked in my life. And that was back in 1985.
Wow.
Man, I was telling the doctor after when I had surgery the last time. He's asked me, he said, do you smoke? And I said, no, I don't smoke. He said, did you ever smoke? I said, oh, I used to be a heavy smoker. I said, I used to smoke 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, how come you quit? I said, oh, it's making my wife sick. I said, she couldn't be around me smoking.
I remember you being allergic to smoke.
Well,
And
Maybe
We're all
we're
allergic to
it
smoke.
was the way he put it.
maybe you were allergic to him.
No.
she
Yeah.
said, that doctor said, well, you can probably blame your wife, then you have to have this surgery. And I said, well, what is that? I think, he said, if you'd have kept smoking, you'd probably been dead for now.
See, I had a buddy.
They said, you wouldn't have to do this. Well, and see, the thing about it is, and I'm not saying it's because of my clean way of living and my clean life and everything, but do you go through that big book I've got up there and see how the Van Tiles, how old they were when they died.
Oh,
None of us lived to be as old as I am.
oh yeah.
I'm the oldest one of a Van Tile I know of, but there might have been some, back in ancient days, but none of my family has lived as long as I am now.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'd like to know more about your parents. What your parents were like. Do you remember? Now, Grandpa, you said that your dad passed away when you were younger.
in '49, I was 19 when he died. He was, my dad and her dad both died at 55. My grandpa died at 55. My great-grandfather died at 56. That's 56. But
So what were your parents' names?
mine named Warren Harrison. Hers was Virgil Alvin, I think.
No. My grandpa,
Your
my
dad.
dad was Virgil Carter.
Well, yeah. I think it's Virgil Alvin Carter, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know, but you didn't see either one of them.
Well, I did too. I just didn't say Carter. I said he figured just a Carter if you was one.
Well, anyway, I was a Carter.
Her
I'm
and Billy
still
were,
a Carter
her,
part of the time because they make you put it in.
her and Billy.
Huh?
You and Billy Carter was a lot
No, I didn't even know him.
alike.
Who's Billy Carter?
Jimmy Carter's brother.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Billy. He's the beer. They had the Billy beer. I still got some Billy beer
Yeah.
around here. They made Billy Carter,
Huh.
But,
Yeah, he's on the tube about a lot of times about different things. But I
Yeah.
don't watch it because I'm moving and or
No.
working.
See, Dorothy's dad, they lived out in Marionville, about 20 miles down the road here, 30. And I think he could do about everything. He worked on TVs,
Mm-hmm.
he recapped tires, he had a service, he overhauled cars, he did mechanical work, and well, he built a TV. He had in his shop there.
Mm.
He just got parts and stuff, gathered up stuff and built it. Had TV in his shop there that he built up. Parts and pieces.
He was real smart.
But
He was real good at working with his hands, I think.
Huh?
He was real good at working with his hands.
evidently he was, because he had 6 or 7 wives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had married, I don't know, lots of times. Dorothy had a half brother by the one woman, half sister by another.
Pyramid.
But her half brother, he died a long time ago. I knew her half brother real well.
Well, who was her half sister? I didn't know you had a half sister.
Oh yeah, she lives here in Springfield someplace. I don't. Leland knew. I've met her,
Oh, I didn't.
She's real ugly.
Oh.
I didn't think she was a pharmacist of some sort.
Huh. Yeah, I think I've met your half brother, but I didn't know you had a half sister.
Yeah, she did. She had a half sister. The last woman that her dad was married to,
Velma. Wasn't it?
Velma's daughter.
Oh, I did. Okay. Yeah, okay. There was such an age difference, I guess, and I just
Yeah.
didn't think about it.
But
Yeah, it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
when he puts it together.
who puts it together?
You.
Well, I ain't putting nothing together, Dorsey.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying that was his last wife. That's who he was married to when he died.
Not
And
that young girl.
well, he had that daughter named.
Well, I
So-
don't care. It's gone and so forth.
okay. So, what did talk about what your dad did?
He died of a heart attack.
Yeah, but what did he do before he died?
Well,
What kind
he
of?
was a builder.
He was a
built
builder.
houses.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he built, well, I worked on, helped him not a lot back through the years, but I'd go where he was working, building houses.
Mhm.
I know where the several houses that he had built, but in Bill Myrtle's house, where Myrtle lived out in Drummond there, me and Dad built that. And Ruby lives there now, Jean's sister.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's your foot, not mine.
before he was a farmer when he was young. I guess he was doing real well when he was young because he had 2 big farms, and I know I heard Mom say one time, "Well, Warren had the best horse and buggy of anybody in the neighborhood in that part of the country," as she said. So that was when they were dating. See, but then after I guess they was buying a new car every year there for a long time, and just I guess they had making quite a lot of money back then because we had a lot of cattle and horses and everything. I remember when I told you about, I had an Uncle Bill. And Jerry sent me, I got a thing, a death certificate, where he died and was buried out at Liberty Cemetery. And I went to Liberty Cemetery, and they can't find no record of him ever being buried there. And I don't think they would have put that in on a death certificate or anything if he hadn't been buried there. I thought, well, Gene over here told me, I was talking to him, and he said, well, maybe if you went to the county seat, county courthouse, they could tell you. Well, see, that'd be Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
And I would like to know if he is there, because he was my dad's brother. And he, when he was 6, 7 years old, he got burned real bad. And so I guess he was kind of retarded after that. I know my older brothers and Dad and them, they knew him. They was always talking about things that Uncle Bill had done, was doing. But see, he's dead and gone. See, Grandpa Vantal died 2 weeks after I was born, I guess.
What was his name?
His name was. No, I can't think right now.
Well, why don't you tell Doug how you got your name?
Yeah, they let Bo, my older brother, name me.
Is that right?
He was reading a book about Billy Buster the Tree, something about, I don't know. Anyway, that's what he wanted to name me.
Yeah, so they let the little kid named Dad.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing we didn't do that with Allison.
Yeah.
What is that?
No
Or tell what Emily would
yeah, I
call
was gonna
her.
say, no telling what she'd ended up with.
Nuisance.
No, Do you ever read that book Evita Scott, Van
I
Tyler?
don't think so.
Oh yeah, it's the history of the Van Tile
And you
family.
still got it.
Oh yeah.
You know, my great, it'd be my great great grandfather. He was a captain in the Union Army in the Civil War. And I don't know the story about him in his book. Said he was out one night and he's sleeping out in the bushes somewhere. He heard a noise and he thought somebody was out there. And he got his gun and shot out that direction. Said went out the next morning, there his horse laid dead.
Gosh.
So,
Did it
Well,
get
did he die? The
He's-
dad?
oh, he's dead now.
I wonder if he got demoted over that.
Just walking.
He became a walking soldier.
Well, Grandma, how did you take up crocheting? Because everything you have going on, I'm not sure where you had time to learn how to crochet.
Well, I don't know how I learned. I just sat down and got the thing out, the notebook, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it tells you what to do.
Hmm.
And I just started doing it.
Now, do you remember how old you were when you started doing that?
Oh, probably about 10.
Oh, really?
Oh, Dorothy, you did.
I did too.
Well, you didn't crochet till after we was married.
Listen, when you tell me something, I don't tell other people.
I do know that when my brother Mark was born, Mom had crocheted a bunch of little sweater sets and
Yeah.
hats and booties that matched for Mark.
Huh.
So it was that.
I don't pay attention.
It was at least that far back.
Yeah.
Have you read them this much?
Yeah, but
Which
it's
one?
just that I don't connect to the people like you do. You know, I don't realize who they are.
I know it.
I mean,
Look
Dad
at me,
reads.
I'm sitting here today.
Dad reads it and says, "Well, that's my great great grandfather." Well, I don't realize that that's Dad's great grandfather or whatever.
Is that lineage here in this book?
Pardon?
Is that lineage on this book?
Yeah, this is a Van Tile,
A chronicle of the
Chronicle.
Van Tile.
650 years of history of a Dutch American family.
Okay.
Well, now, this is my family right here. My folks, Juanita Mays, my oldest sister, James Edmund, Merle Alvin,
Oh, wow.
Sarah Louise, Gary Merle, that's Janice Fay, Virginia June, her name is June, not Jane. Then Warren Jr. was Bo, Janice Sue, Janice Sue, well, now that's Bo's here.
Well, your kids are listed there somewhere, aren't they, Dad?
Dorothy Louise, this
That's
Billy
me.
Buster right there.
That's you.
And then Daniel Ray, Kristen, Daniel.
Oh, I'll be darned.
There's you right there.
Yeah, Vita.
Huh.
Vita.
Mark Stephen, Amber Marie.
Oh,
Now
I'll be
that,
darned.
well, let's see.
So
Now
that
you'll
goes all the way.
be.
That's all right there. That's pretty slick.
And when that was printed and published and everything, see, I don't think you were born yet.
Yeah.
No, I guess not.
Well, Amber's in there, so.
Oh, and you're older than Amber?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be here, I think,
But,
if I knew where Ardo.
yeah, that's all right.
What part of finding?
I was going to show you here.
But unless it followed because, well,
Or he just didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that would be
That's
quite the
okay.
job.
but it was just good to know that you're in there and where I could. But yeah, I'll try.
Now there's the guy that wrote this book right there, Roy.
Hmm.
He came to our house down at Republic there and stayed all afternoon. Come about noon,
Who
and I
was
thought he was
that?
going to spend.
That Rory Van Tile.
I thought he was going to stay all night with us, but he
Hmm.
said he had to get back to.
Well, show him the picture of you and the cow. Dad's picture's in there
Oh, is that right?
with a cow.
That's a great book.
Oh yeah, it is. I got every one of my kids one
Yeah.
when there's me. It's so pages written up about Dorothy and Lang.
Okay.
You know, so my family got mad because I was the only one of the family that got anything written up about them or anything in there, and didn't know why. But this is when I lived down in
That's
Republic
neat.
and had
Yeah.
the cows, and
Is that the one with you and the cow?
yeah, feeding the cows.
Yeah. But you know, you can't hardly see Dad's face.
Yeah.
No, but now that is Cecil Van Tile. Now he is the biggest car dealer.
It's a Venti Chevrolet and
All of this reliable stuff around here. He's got. Last I heard, he had 136.
No kidding.
dealerships all over Texas,
Uh-huh.
all over,
Wow.
well, all over the country. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of them in Texas.
Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Now he lives down at up at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Hmm.
But I was going to where old Ruth, my old great grandfather's what. Now this is interesting there. Now I got some relatives. They had some kids that was buried down at Edwards, Missouri.
Oh,
And that's
uh-huh.
up in Warsaw.
Oh, uh-huh.
And but his they got a boy down there named Billy Buck. So
Oh, huh.
he's much better off. His name
He's
was not much better than mine. Billy Buck was his name.
Going through Oklahoma, there's a
Oh, now this is Edwards, Missouri. See, this tells about that family.
Hmm.
Did you see the sign going through Oklahoma? There's a Billy B. Treadwater or something's Memorial Highway, and I
No.
wondered if his name was Billy Buster because it had
Hmm.
Billy B. on there. Surely he's not
See.
the only one.
My relatives, they got big in the oil business down in Oklahoma at one time, till the bottom fell out of the oil business, and they was big in the construction at different times too. There's a building they built somewhere,
Hmm.
but down in Verona.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they used to be big. Okay, now there's my old great grandfather there, Erastus Jefferson Van Tile.
Is that the name you
Wow.
was trying to think of?
No, I was trying to think of.
This is the guy who shot his horse.
Yeah, this is the one that shot his horse. This is old Erastus.
That's
Let's
how.
keep it even.
Yeah.
Do what?
That's how we go down. That's how we remember him.
Yeah.
He's the one who shot the horse.
All the things he accomplished in his life. That's why
Yeah.
he'll be remembered
Captain
for
of the
the
Union
guy
Army, and
the guy that shot his horse.
this is the guy walking.
He died in California in a rest home for retired
Oh,
Mm.
officers.
Oh,
There went the kids, and there goes Eeyore.
Oh, that was Ethan.
There
Wasn't
you
it?
Ethan.
Huey, quit growling it.
now see, this is hard times on the river, you know.
Yeah.
That was when, see, my relatives, they came here,
Come on in, honey.
and they lived
Why
back
didn't you
east,
come
you
on
know.
in?
Ethan, you want to come in?
They lived back
Come on, let
east,
Huey in.
Let the dog
in
in.
Ohio, and
That was a good boy.
they came, well, in New York. They owned most of, I forget what the name of that place was. It's a big place now. If they still held on to that,
Oh
they'd
yeah.
all been billionaires.
You
But
want to come in, you can.
Who's that? Is that Amy?
But I tell you, they went up and down in business more than there's family. They had a family. Two branches of the Vantal family populated the Bama in 1840. The relatives prospered.
Yeah, I think we're. No, they wanted to say stop, and I said no. I'm having too much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all exhausted.
Yeah. Well, I really do appreciate that.
Well, I'll loan you my book.
I
'Cause
appreciate
I've got
that,
a book like
'cause
that.
I can add that to our. I've got a family tree online that
And
I'm
I'm
trying to build.
Yeah, you know.
I'd like to get.
Now see
Now,
this.
I didn't know you crochet. If you have
My neighbor
one,
next
a
door here,
circle
he's
one
borrowed this book.
I have on my wall.
My two grandmothers both
Yeah,
crocheted,
Oh.
and they both gave me one. So if you ever find one, you may.
He's
A
borrowed this
small one I
book
can put on my wall. I'd love to.
to